Greetings. Welcome to Busme US. My name is Dr. Paul Arguman, and with this short screencast, I'm going to show you how to sign in, create a customer account, and explain to you some of the authentication mechanisms we use for our Busme sites. This screen before you is the front page of the Busme US site. This is where you go for general information and updates. Besides reading more information, the goal is to create your own transportation tracking website for your transportation system. Before you can do things like that, however, you need to create a customer account. You may create a customer account by simply going to the upper right corner of the page and clicking on the sign in button, as I will do here. This action brings me to the customer sign in page, where there are icons for several authentication services that you may be familiar with, such as Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. Busme partners with these services to authenticate you. This process is known as third-party authentication, and it helps you by not having yet another username password combination to remember. If you had already signed into one of these services earlier today, both your browser and the particular service will recognize that, and the service will tell Busme who you are. If you had not signed on to one of these sites in a while, you will be asked to sign in to your selected particular service. For example, let's say I want to use my LinkedIn account for my new Busme US customer account. I click on the LinkedIn icon, and since I have not yet signed into LinkedIn today, I am brought to a LinkedIn sign-in page. This page is asking me for my LinkedIn email and password combination. Also notice that it is also asking me if I want to share some information from LinkedIn with Busme. Many sites are using this method of authentication, so let me issue a word of caution since I'm a security guy. During third-party authentication, please make sure that you're entering this sensitive information directly into the intended service, such as LinkedIn here. You may be reasonably confident if you see a closed lock and the service's web address in the URL bar. Here you can see that I would be entering information directly into the LinkedIn site and not into the Busme US site or some other site. This is a word of caution. Please be careful out there. So since this is a screencast, I'm not going to enter my email address and password here. I'm going to back off and I'm going to use my Twitter account. Now I've already signed on to Twitter earlier today, so I will not have to enter my email and password here. Since Busme US and Twitter have not yet communicated on my Twitter identity, Twitter will ask me for my permission for Twitter to interact with Busme on my behalf. So I click on the Twitter icon, and I am directed to Twitter. You can notice that by the lock and the URL up here. And it is asking me to authorize Busme to use my account. Of course, I must confirm this permission to continue. Once I do that, I will be redirected back to the Busme US site. Now, since Busme US has not seen this Twitter authentication previously, I must be a new customer. So I am directed to the new customer account page. We do get some information from your authentication provider, but not much. You will notice my Twitter account number and my Twitter handle in the name field. My Twitter handle is not very aesthetic, so I will use my real name, and I must enter a valid email address. Since this is a screencast, I will not enter my real email address. I will enter one from an email sync service that was created by a colleague of mine called mailinator.com. Feel free to send me any emails there. I won't get them. That being said, please use a real email address for yourself so that we may contact you with important information and updates concerning your account. I fill in the appropriate information and I click the Create Account button. If there are no problems, the message above says that the account's been created and that I'm signed in. I'll acknowledge that notice by clicking the X. I also recognize that I'm signed in by seeing my name and anonymous avatar in the upper right-hand corner where the sign in button used to be. I am now on the Edit Customer Account page. I may edit my name and my email at any time on this page and hit the Update button. I may also associate other authentication services with this account. This allows me to be able to associate other authentication providers with my Busme US customer account. However, let's not worry about that now. For simplicity, please just use one. And you must remember which one you used. And here we use Twitter. I may always get back to the Edit Customer Account page by clicking on my name in the upper right-hand corner. And I also may log out using the logout link below my name. So I'll do that. At this point, I've signed out and I am brought back to the Busme US front page, and it tells me I have signed out. To sign back into Busme, I do what I did before, click on the Sign In button. This time, however, I will click on Twitter, which is what I used before. And this time, however, since I've already created a customer account using my Twitter account, it signs me directly into Busme US. It brings me to my personal Busme US customer page, which lists my current transportation sites. Since I am a new customer, I do not have any sites listed. So I may go see what other sites have been created by clicking on the Active Sites link in the sidebar. I see that there is a site for Syracuse, New York. So let's go have a look. We'll go to the site. And we can see that there are several buses traveling along a certain route. The Westcott downtown bus, several of them. Most rider-facing Busme transportation sites will look like this one. Notice that I am now on the individual Busme Syracuse, New York site for a casual visit. Although I am a customer of Busme US and I am signed into the Busme US site, notice that I am not signed in to the Busme Syracuse, New York site. I am not a rider or an administrator of that site, at least not yet anyway. Individual Busme transportation sites will have rider and administrative accounts which are established pretty much the same way as we established my customer account on the main Busme US site. At this point, I will back up to the main US Busme site and I will log out. This concludes this screencast on the Busme customer account creation and the use of third-party authentication mechanisms. The next screencast will show you how to create your own Busme site for your particular transportation system. I'm Dr. Polar Human. Thanks for listening and enjoy the ride.